again, and welcome back to Ask Dr. Saira, the show where I answer your questions about personal growth, spiritual development, and mental health. So today's question comes from Isadora. Isadora asks, when you lose your job, say by getting fired, how do you get the confidence to start looking for work again? When you lose your job, say by getting fired, how do you get the confidence to start looking for work again? Well, first of all, sorry that you lost your job by getting fired. And when you say it that way, it tells me that there's some embarrassment about that perhaps, or some bad feeling about getting fired, which is understandable, right? It sucks to be fired, especially if you don't see it coming, or especially if, it comes out of nowhere. How it happens and the kind of context with which that actual conversation happens, all of that can be very stressful and difficult. And so what you're saying to me is that you've lost confidence, right? That getting fired made you lose confidence in yourself. And one of the ways that you might want to address that, and there are many, many ways, one of the ways that I might suggest to address that is to expand the story, right? So, okay, so you got fired from this job. Fair. Can you think of a time in your life when you actually did really well at something? You actually exceeded expectations about something. People were really impressed by something that you did or said or something that you started. When we let an event like getting fired start to define us and start to make us think that we're just that's when things go wonky, right? And so in order to maintain our confidence, we want to remember that we're more than just an employee at this job. We're more than just getting fired. We're more than just whatever the problem is. We're more than the problem. There's a saying that we have in our practice that you are not the problem. The problem is the problem, right? The problem is the problem. And so the confidence, the lack of confidence that you're feeling now, that's the problem. You're not the problem. The lack of confidence is the issue that we want to be working on. And so when we frame it that way, when we see it that way, then suddenly there's options, right? Because I could ask myself, well, where in my life do I still have a lot of confidence, right? For me, maybe it's in my parenting. I feel like I'm really connected to my kids, or maybe it's in my self-care, my physical health routine that I do, or whatever. Is there other places in your life? Because there will be. I mean, if you look around, there'll be something where you do it well, even if it's just as simple as I'm a good neighbor, right? I'm friendly, whatever. Let that confidence from other things start reminding you who you are, that you're more than just this event of getting fired. What we do sometimes is this event, some sort of an event will happen, some sort of a difficult event. And it's not about the event itself. It's about what we make it mean about ourselves. So Dr. Gabor Mate talks about this, right? That trauma, like bad things happen to everybody. Bad things happen to everybody, but not everybody gets traumatized by them. Why? Because some of us, it's not about what happens to us, it's what happens inside of us, right? It's what happens inside of us because of what happened to us. And so what's happening inside of you perhaps is you're telling yourself a story about the kind of person you are, the kind of employee you are, the kind of worker you are. And maybe that's not a true story. Maybe it's time to change that story. Maybe this particular organization, there wasn't a fit, and that's okay. And maybe you'll find spaces where there would be a better fit. But I also don't want to minimize that feeling of lacking confidence, because of course I remember when I was let go of a job that I really, really was invested in, it made me start thinking, like, am I just really not good at my job, or am I just not really good in this field, or what's wrong with me, or whatever those words were, that final review, like they rolled around in my head. I totally get that. And we need to do that. We need to feel bad for a minute. Okay, because it's otherwise you're faking it, right? So feel bad for a minute and then start looking at, okay, now what? So The confidence is around looking for work again. One of the easy ways you could do that is just start telling people, telling your own people, like your own little circle, your own loved ones, that you're looking for work. I'm not really feeling confident enough yet to get out in the world, but I do know I want a job, another job in this field, in another field, whatever. So starting to talk about it, because when you talk about it, you bring in your allies, right? You bring in people who are going to root for you and cheer you on. And it's very hard when you're pretending everything's fine, but inside there's been a disruption. And so by sharing that with someone else, by talking about that, by getting it off your chest, you can actually start, first of all, be more real with people, which is, I think, so important, but also people will know what you need, right? If we're pretending we're okay all the time, nobody really knows what we need. And there's people in your life who are probably super invested in you and who will support you with what you need. Now, if you don't have anyone in your life like that, because there are some of us who haven't been able to build that meaningful friendship and group connection, I would strongly invite you to come join us. So come join our group. So every Monday, we have this learning event called Monday Musings. I don't know how long that'll go and when you're watching this video, but for sure through 2021 and 2022, we have this event called Monday Musings, and that's a place for community to gather where we start talking about some of these misses that we're having within ourselves and within the people around us. And so what it looks like is we have a little bit of teaching, and then there's a community conversation around a particular topic. So if you don't have those people to talk to, come join us. Everybody is welcome. We'd love to see you there. You can find out more details on our website here, right? The website just right here. If you want, anybody who's watching wants to join us for that, if you're looking for that community. So that's what I would say, is that it's quite normal to kind of like take a hit, to lose your confidence, and challenge yourself on that, right? Challenge yourself on that. You're more than just someone who got fired from a job, right? You're way more than that. Perhaps you're a partner, perhaps you're a spouse, perhaps you're a child, perhaps you're a parent, perhaps you're a friend to someone else. So all of these other identities can help you remember that you're okay and it's going to be okay. So that's what I would say to you, Isadora. Good luck with your job search. And if anyone else has questions about loss or whatever, losing confidence or finding yourself, any of those kinds of things, send me a note, send me an email, and then I can answer your question in one of our future episodes. And until we meet again, take care. Talk to you soon.